The Strait of Hormuz, pre-dawn darkness, still holds the water in its grip, the kind of deep, absolute black that makes the horizon disappear entirely, where sea and sky dissolve into a single void and the only light comes from the navigation lamps of passing tankers drifting through the night like slow-moving stars. Through that darkness, the USS Abraham Lincoln, a Nimitz-class nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, moves at operational speed. Displacement, 104,000 tons. Length, 1,092 feet. 4 steam catapults capable of launching an aircraft every 20 seconds. An air wing of 90 aircraft. A crew of 5,000 American sailors and aviators who woke up that morning believing the day ahead would be another routine presence operation in a tense but manageable theater. The Lincoln's radar arrays sweep the sky in every direction. Her electronic warfare systems monitor every emission across the electromagnetic spectrum. Her combat air patrol, 2 F/A-18F Super Hornets, circles at 20,000 feet, armed and ready. She is the most powerful conventional warship ever built by human hands. And within 11 minutes, Iran is going to make the worst miscalculation in the history of the Islamic Republic. The Abraham Lincoln Strike Group carries enough firepower to reshape the geography of a small nation. Her escorts, 2 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, the USS Kearney and the USS Nitzer, carry a combined 184 vertical launch cells loaded with SM-6 air defense missiles, Tomahawk cruise missiles, and ASROC anti-submarine weapons. Running silent 400 meters beneath the surface, a Los Angeles-class attack submarine, the USS Cheyenne, tracks every Iranian vessel within a 60-kilometer radius. But here is the thing about firepower. It does not matter how much you carry if the attack comes from exactly the right angle, at exactly the right moment. Using precisely the tactic your entire layered defense system was designed to counter, but has never encountered executed at this scale in actual combat. The IRGC had been studying American carrier defense architecture for 30 years. They ran simulations, they ran exercises. They drilled the one scenario every American carrier captain fears most: a simultaneous, multi-axis, mixed ballistic and cruise missile saturation attack. That morning, they executed it almost perfectly. The timeline begins in the final hour before dawn. The watch rotation has just changed. Crew fatigue sits at its operational peak. Somewhere in the mountains above Bandar Abbas, a Revolutionary Guard ballistic missile battalion has been tracking the Lincoln for 9 hours using passive radar, drone surveillance, and signals intelligence fed from 3 separate collection sites. The targeting solution has been refined and refined again. The battery commander receives the launch authorization. 2 Khalid Far's anti-ship ballistic missiles fire simultaneously. Purpose-built carrier killers with a range of 300 kilometers, a terminal velocity of Mach 3.5, and maneuvering re-entry vehicles designed specifically to overwhelm Aegis defenses during their final approach. Flight time from launch to impact, 4 minutes and 20 seconds. But they are not coming alone. 40 seconds after the ballistic missiles leave their launchers, 12 Shahed 238 supersonic drones are released from 3 separate coastal positions. These are not the slow subsonic drones American sailors have grown accustomed to intercepting. These are turbojet-powered, radar-guided weapons traveling at Mach 0.8 at wave-top altitude, crossing the radar horizon with less than 90 seconds of warning time. The Lincoln's SPY-6 radar picks up the ballistic missiles immediately at a range of 270 kilometers. Battle stations. The entire carrier strike group shifts to full defensive posture in 11 seconds. SM-6 missiles launch from the Kearney and the Nitzer. The first ballistic missile is intercepted cleanly at 60 kilometers, debris falling harmlessly into the black water below. The second ballistic missile maneuvers hard during its terminal approach. 2 SM-6 missiles pursue it. 1 misses. The second detonates close enough to damage the seeker, but not close enough to destroy the weapon entirely. The damaged missile continues on a degraded ballistic path and strikes the flight deck of the Abraham Lincoln. The warhead is designed for armor penetration. It drives through the flight deck and detonates inside the hangar bay. 3 aircraft are destroyed instantly. The fireball rises 60 feet. The blast wave kills 9 American sailors in the hangar bay immediately. 27 more are wounded. The flight deck sustains structural damage across a 40-meter section. And while every defensive system on every ship in the strike group is fully engaged with the missile threats, the 12 drones arrive. 7 are intercepted, 5 penetrate, 2 strike the island superstructure. 1 hits the forward flight deck, 2 reach escort vessels. The USS Netzer takes 2 drone impacts. Her bridge is destroyed, 8 more sailors are killed. In the first 4 minutes of the attack, 17 American sailors dead, 62 wounded. 1 aircraft carrier with significant flight deck damage. 1 destroyer with her bridge gone. You are aviation boatswain's mate, 3rd Class Marcus Webb, 23 years old, from Shreveport, Louisiana. You joined the Navy because your older brother did. Because the recruiting office had a poster showing jets launching from carriers. Because you wanted to see something larger than the neighborhood you grew up in. That morning, you were in the hangar bay performing pre-dawn maintenance checks, listening to music through one earbud, which you are technically not supposed to do, and thinking about the message your girlfriend sent the night before. And then the world became fire. Your training does not feel like training in this moment. It feels like instinct. You move toward the damage control station. You pick up the hose. You do the thing you were told to do 100 times in drills. And now you are doing it while the ship is on fire and people are screaming and the smell of burning aircraft fuel fills every breath you take. That is who is on that carrier. Not assets, not casualties. People with girlfriends and brothers and small towns they wanted to leave behind. Here is what Iran did not know, what they could not have known, what their intelligence services, their proxies, their foreign advisors had no awareness of whatsoever. 11 months before that morning's attack, following a pattern of escalating IRGC harassment of American carrier groups in the Strait, U.S. Central Command submitted a contingency targeting package to the Secretary of Defense. The package was designated Operation Granite Hammer. It identified every Iranian military installation within 350 kilometers of the strait that contributes to anti-ship, anti-air, or ballistic missile capabilities, 41 targets in total. Radar sites, missile batteries, command nodes, fuel farms, weapons storage facilities, drone launch platforms. The package included detailed strike assignments for every available platform in theater, pre-calculated weapons loads, deconflicted flight routes, and time-on-target sequencing for simultaneous impact across all 41 targets. The Secretary of Defense signed pre-delegated launch authority for Operation Granite Hammer 11 months earlier. No presidential call required. No National Security Council meeting required. No congressional notification required before execution. The trigger confirmed hostile fire, resulting in American casualties from a position on Iranian territory. Iran had just pulled that trigger. The strike authorization reaches 5 separate platforms simultaneously, 2 minutes after the Lincoln takes her first hit. The USS Cheyenne, running silent beneath the strike group, carries 12 Tomahawk cruise missiles already programmed with target data updated 4 hours prior. She has been waiting for exactly this message for 3 weeks. The USS Florida, an Ohio-class guided missile submarine pre-positioned in the Gulf of Oman, carries 154 Tomahawks and begins her launch sequence. 2 B-2 Spirit stealth bombers operating from Diego Garcia, currently holding in an orbit pattern over the Arabian Sea, each carry 16 GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrators. The hardened command bunkers buried beneath the Iranian mountains already selected as their targets. The USS Carney, despite her own battle damage, executes her assigned portion of the strike package. Her vertical launch cells still function, Tomahawks fire, and in the pre-dawn sky over the northern Arabian Sea, 12 F/A-18E Super Hornets from Strike Fighter Squadron 86 receive updated targeting data, arm their AGM-158 JASSM cruise missiles, and begin their attack profiles. From authorization to last weapon away, 6 minutes and 11 seconds. The first Tomahawk launches from submerged position. The weapon breaks the surface, booster ignites, and the cruise missile turns northeast at 880 kilometers per hour toward a target that was programmed into its navigation system before the Iranian missile crews even began their pre-launch checklist that morning. The USS Florida Ripple fires 60 Tomahawks in under 5 minutes, each one programmed, each one hunting, each one assigned to a specific aim point at a specific Iranian military installation. The B-2s released their penetrators in coordinated pairs. The F/A-18S released 48 JASSM missiles from outside Iranian radar coverage and turned back toward the carrier. Total weapons airborne, 148 precision-guided munitions converging on 41 targets across southern Iran. All timed for simultaneous impact. The first impacts begin 11 minutes after the Lincoln takes her first hit. The Bandar Abbas Integrated Missile Command Center, the node that coordinated that morning's attack, sits buried under 3 meters of reinforced concrete, considered hardened against conventional cruise missile strikes. 2 GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrators delivered by B-2 bomber change that calculation permanently. The first penetrates the roof, the second follows through the entry hole and detonates at the operations level. The command center ceases to exist. Every officer who participated in the planning and execution of that morning's attack dies in the same moment. The Khalij Fars missile battery at Bandar Jask, the position that launched the 2 ballistic missiles against the Lincoln, receives 8 Tomahawks converging simultaneously. The launch vehicles, still being repositioned for a second strike, explode. The reload trucks cook off. The fuel depot ignites. The crew bunkers, where missile teams shelter between launch operations, take direct hits. Within 40 seconds, every piece of equipment and every person associated with that morning's ballistic launch is destroyed. The Kish Island Air Defense Radar Complex, the installation that provided the targeting data making a carrier strike possible, without whose long-range radar coordinates the attack could never have been coordinated, receives 12 Tomahawks. The phased array radar disappears in the first 4 impacts. The command building takes 3 direct hits. The backup power facility, the communications towers, the vehicle park, all gone. Iranian maritime surveillance across a 200-kilometer sector goes permanently dark. The Keshem Island IRGC naval base, Iran's forward operating position for fast attack boat operations in the Strait, home to 47 missile-armed speedboats, along with fuel farms, weapons storage and maintenance facilities, receives 8 Tomahawks on the pier complex alone. Boats still tied to their moorings explode as their weapons magazines detonate in sequence. The fuel farm ignites into a pillar of fire visible from 60 kilometers away. The barracks take 4 missiles directly. The Shahid Bahonar naval base at Hormuz, Iran's primary IRGC naval command facility for Strait operations, receives 18 Tomahawks. The headquarters building, a 4-story structure serving as the operational brain of Iran's Hormuz defense, takes 4 cruise missiles through its front face and collapses into itself. The operations center that had been monitoring the Lincoln's damage and preparing follow-on strike assessments is buried under 20 meters of rubble. Secondary explosions from stored anti-ship munitions create a chain reaction that destroys 4 adjacent structures. The 3 coastal drone launch platforms, the positions from which that morning's 12 drones were released, each receive 6 Tomahawks. The mobile launchers, support vehicles, propellant storage, and communication relays are systematically eliminated across all 3 positions within a 4-minute window. 14 additional targets, radar nodes, communications relay stations, ammunition depots, and command bunkers scattered across a 300-kilometer coastal arc, receive proportional allocations of the remaining weapons. Total strike duration from first impact to last detonation, 4 minutes and 52 seconds. In that window, Iran's entire integrated anti-ship and anti-carrier strike capability in the Strait of Hormuz transforms from the most sophisticated threat to American carrier operations in the world into burning wreckage. Now examine the exchange with cold precision. Iran's attack, 14 weapons against 1 carrier group, 17 American sailors killed, 62 wounded, 1 aircraft carrier with significant but repairable flight deck damage, 1 destroyer with her bridge destroyed. America's response, 148 precision weapons against 41 military installations. An estimated 670 Iranian Revolutionary Guard personnel killed. Iran's entire Hormuz region anti-ship strike network destroyed. ballistic missile launch capability reduced by 85%, drone strike capability reduced by 90%, coastal radar coverage across a 300-kilometer sector eliminated, 4 naval bases rendered permanently non-operational. The arithmetic is not merely brutal, it is designed to be instructive. 14 Iranian weapons fired, 148 American weapons returned. 17 Americans dead, 670 Iranians dead. 1 carrier with repairable damage, 41 Iranian facilities destroyed. And the strategic calculation embedded in those numbers is even more devastating than the numbers themselves. Iran spent 14 weapons and earned itself the destruction of assets that took 30 years and $40 billion to construct. Assets that are not replaceable in the current sanctions environment. Not within a year. Not within 2 years. Not as long as American naval forces maintain presence in the region and pre-authorized retaliation doctrine remains in effect. The diplomatic timeline that follows unfolds with the predictability of a script already written. Within 2 hours, Iran's foreign ministry issues a statement claiming the Lincoln violated an Iranian maritime exclusion zone, a zone with no basis in international law, and characterizes the American response as an illegal act of aggression. The statement is issued while satellite imagery of burning Iranian facilities circulates across every major international news network. The United States releases the full radar track of the Lincoln's position at the moment of attack, placing her unambiguously in international waters. The tracking data shows Iranian missiles launching from Iranian territory. Communications intercepts, already declassified under emergency procedures, prove attack authorization came directly from IRGC headquarters at Bandar Abbas. The complete evidence package reaches the United Nations, NATO headquarters, and the capitals of every Gulf state within 3 hours. Saudi Arabia issues a statement calling the Iranian attack unprovoked aggression against freedom of navigation and thanks the United States Navy for its response. The UAE offers expanded port access for American vessel repairs. Bahrain reaffirms its commitment to the Defense Cooperation Agreement. Even Oman, which has served as a back-channel intermediary between Washington and Tehran for years, releases a carefully worded statement expressing deep concern about Iranian military behavior. The message from the region is unmistakable. America's allies in the Gulf have spent 30 years living next to Iranian military expansion. They do not want sympathy for Tehran. They want the deterrence framework that America just demonstrated to remain intact. Here is what changes after the Lincoln incident. Here is why the 6-minute response does not simply end one confrontation, but restructures every future Iranian military calculation. Operation Granite Hammer establishes a new deterrence framework with a single irreversible lesson at its core. Successful attacks on American carriers do not trigger National Security Council debates. They do not trigger calls to allies for diplomatic support. They do not trigger measured, proportional, calibrated responses designed for international optics. They trigger preloaded, pre-aimed, pre-authorized devastation on a timeline that gives Iranian commanders no opportunity to evacuate, disperse, shelter, or respond. The weapon that fires against an American warship does not merely destroy its target. It simultaneously activates the complete destruction of every facility, every system, and every person that enabled that weapon to be fired. The Iranian commander who orders an attack on the Abraham Lincoln does not simply order an attack on a carrier. He orders the simultaneous destruction of his own command center, his own radar stations, his own missile batteries, his own naval bases, his own supply chain, and his own life. The 6-minute response is not impressive reaction speed. It is not a demonstration of American technological superiority. It is pre-planned devastation that was authorized, targeted, and loaded 11 months before Iran fired a single weapon. The decision to retaliate was made before the Lincoln ever entered the strait. All that was required was confirmation that Iran had done exactly what American strategic planners had predicted, modeled, and prepared for. They did. The response was already waiting. The USS Abraham Lincoln returns to Bahrain under her own power. Flight deck repairs are estimated at 11 months. Aviation boatswain's mate, 3rd Class Marcus Webb, survives the attack. He receives the Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medal for his actions during damage control operations. His girlfriend flies to Bahrain to meet him when the ship reaches port. The 17 sailors killed are transported home with full military honors. Their names are added to the memorial at Naval Station Norfolk. They were 21 years old, 23 years old, 34 years old. They had children and siblings and small towns they came from, and plans they had not yet had the chance to carry out. They were on a ship doing exactly what American warships have done in the Strait of Hormuz for 40 years, ensuring that international waters remain open to all flags, that commerce flows freely, that no regional power can hold the global economy hostage at a critical choke point. They paid the price that comes with that mission. And the response to their deaths ensured that the lesson was heard clearly in every IRGC command post from Bandar Abbas to Tehran. The Strait of Hormuz does not change on the day of the Lincoln attack. Iranian ships still patrol it. Iranian territory still borders it. Iranian missiles still sit in hardened positions overlooking it. But every Iranian naval officer who stands watch in that strait, every battery commander who looks at his targeting display, every IRGC admiral who studies the morning threat assessment now carries one piece of knowledge they did not have before. They know exactly what activating that targeting display costs. They know what 6 minutes means. And they know the response will already be in the air before they can reach their evacuation vehicle. That is what pre-authorized response looks like when you are on the receiving end.